In a world without pollinator species such as bees, we would all starve. Bees play a vital role in our food production. However, the bee population is rapidly decreasing, and we must take action to recognize and preserve these valuable pollinators. Bees have economic and social impacts on our lives. Many of the foods that we consume, like fruits and vegetables, are pollinated by bees. Pollination happens when bees transfer pollen grains from plant to plant, and the plants are fertilized and make seeds, which produce the fruits and vegetables we eat daily. Even animals we eat are dependent on pollination in order to get their food. My family and I recently had an encounter with a forming beehive in our backyard, which caused me to become interested in the role of bees in our environment. We should take action and make an effort to understand the importance of bees and their population in order to prevent our economy and global food supply from suffering. Bees are one of the most important species in our ecosystems. However, the bee population is diminishing due to pesticides, parasites, climate change, and habitat loss. As an effect of global warming, bees are losing acres of their natural habitats in the United States and Europe. Bees are being pushed southward compared to other species that tend to shift north. This means that there is less and less habitat for them, and we need to start considering the importance of bees to prevent them from dying off. Beekeepers have seen a 20 to 30% decrease in bee colony population each winter. As you can see from this visual from Bee Informed, there have been increased winter and annual losses in honeybee colonies in the United States. And from here you can see that this has led to a steady decline in the number of beehives in the United States since 1946 that continues until today. According to the Global Research Center, this extreme decrease in bee population has become such an urgent crisis that the United States Department of Agriculture has agreed to provide a $3 million subsidy to protect these species. These species have the power to change our food prices dramatically, and the annual rate of depopulation has also led the United States to lose approximately $30 billion a year. Bees not only contribute to our food supply, but also to our economy. According to the Obama administration, bees contribute $15 billion to the United States economy, and 87 of the leading 115 food crops are dependent on animal pollination. Without bees, it would be impossible to purchase fruits such as strawberries, mangoes, and watermelon, and we would lose 35% of our global food production. There has already been a plan created in 2008 called the Pollinator Protection Strategic Plan that aims to reduce risks of pesticides on pollinators like bees. According to the Science magazine, crops are treated with neonicotinoids, a pesticide that spreads the nectar and pollen of plants. The bee colonies that had neonicotinoids present had a reduced growth rate and suffered an 85% reduction in production of new queen bees compared to colonies that did not have the pesticide. Pesticides such as neonicotinoids aren't necessary for crop production, but are for greater profit in big companies. However, the Pollinator Protection Strategic Plan has not implemented any policies yet. Some policies introduced in the plan include pesticide regulation, preserving the natural habitat of pollinators, and avoidance of agricultural chemicals. There are other efforts that have been made at our own school to protect bees. According to the Center for Sustainability here on campus, Cal Poly makes efforts to promote healthy bee lives without use of antibiotics and fungicides. Cal Poly provides students with the opportunity to take beekeeping classes to educate students on the importance of bees. There has been a government commitment made called the 2008 Farm Bill and a global pollination project among 7 countries designed to improve and provide agriculture with more sustainable practices to support conservation of pollinators. All of these efforts prove that saving the bees is possible and more regulations and policies can be created. Without the existence of bees, we would not have much food to eat. We rely heavily on pollination to produce foods that make our diets nutritious, diverse, and healthy. Without enough bees around to pollinate, our diets would be based on crops that depend on wind pollination, such as wheat, rice, corn, and rye. We would be missing out on essential nutrients that many fruits and vegetables provide, such as vitamins A, C, fiber, and potassium. Without bees, we do not have nearly as much variety of fruits and vegetables, which would be detrimental to our bodies, especially because the fruits and vegetables are an important part of our food pyramid. Fruits and vegetables keep us healthy and can lower our risks of heart disease and increased blood pressure. In addition to fruits and vegetables, bees provide us with a very beneficial food substance, honey. According to Science Direct, honey provides many antioxidants which can lead to reduced heart attacks, strokes, and some types of cancer. Honey can also serve as a cough suppressant. When I was sick a few weeks ago, I bought honey from the campus market and had a couple teaspoons of honey every day to help relieve some of my cough. Second, the fewer bees there are to pollinate, the increased time and cost humans must put in to hand pollinate crops. According to Vice, MIT graduates found that hand pollinating 2 acres of apples would cost between $5,000 to $7,000. This is an extremely high price to pay, considering that bees do $11 to $15 billion of work for farmers each year. As a consequence of the decline in the bee population, prices of our food would increase dramatically, and without bees, our economy would be so ruined that we would be paying up to $10 for just a single apple. There are several actions we could take to save our bees. According to Honeybee Conservancy, there are easy and inexpensive ways to care for bees. We can plant a bee-friendly garden like this one, with native California poppies, which will not only provide bees with valuable food, but can also make our homes look even more vibrant and beautiful. Another action we can take is to avoid harmful pesticides by purchasing organic produce. Synthetic pesticides are very harmful to the lives of bees, and most of the time pesticides aren't necessary. Any pesticide containing neonicotinoids are especially harmful to bees. Instead, we can introduce beneficial bugs such as ladybugs and praying mantises as an alternative to pesticides. We can also fight to have our leaders work to ban neonicotinoid pesticides such as France has done and the European Union plans to do soon. Another way to save our bees is to support local beekeepers. This is especially important to me because last summer a beehive started forming under a tree in our backyard. My 2 options were to remove the beehive, spraying insecticide on the beehive, or hiring a local beekeeper to remove the hive safely by killing them. Yeah, and there is the queen bee. Photo isn't that clear, but it's there, and that's also not very clear. Actually, the picture later on my computer if you want, but yeah, the beehive's there. Even though hiring a beekeeper to remove the beehive was more costly, it was important to us that the bees we take into a farm and remain unharmed. Supporting local beekeepers who sell honey and beeswax products can show our support for keeping bees safe and healthy. Powerful companies are using harmful bee-killing pesticides in order to make the greatest profits while destroying one of the most vital species in our ecosystems. Without these essential creatures in our ecosystem, we put our food supply and floral diversity at risk. We must work together to keep corporations and people from harming those bees who provide so much for us. We must do what we can to help them become the strong, thriving population they once were.